Recorded.
Is my voice audible to everyone?
Sir. Yes, sir.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about Apex programming language, and we have discussed what exactly Apex programming and what we can do with the help of Apex programming language, and what kind of operations that we can do with the help of Apex programming we have discussed in the previous session. And we have discussed what are the various features that we have in Apex programming to interact with the database objects to perform the operations, like it may be import operations or export operations, and what kind of APIs that Apex programming provides, which we can use to integrate the Salesforce applications with the third-party systems. And then we have discussed about the Apex programming execution lifecycle. So during the programming lifecycle, we have identified whenever we are writing your Apex programming code, each Apex class code will store inside a file with the extension .apexc. Each Apex class code will get stored inside a file with the extension .apexc. So once the code has been getting written, the code should be get compiled by using Apex compiler. We have a component called as Apex compiler. Now the Apex compiler is going to be compiling your Apex class code to check the syntactical mistakes. So whatever the code we have written by using this Apex programming, inside that code, do we have any syntactical mistakes or exist or not? To verify those syntactical mistakes, internally Force.com platform is using a component called as Apex compiler. So each Apex code should get compiled by using Apex compiler. So once the code has been compiled successfully, the compiled code will store inside a repository. What is the repository? Metadata repository. Okay, metadata repository. So now we have metadata repository. Each compiled code will get resides inside the metadata repository. Metadata repository is a location which contains all the compiled Apex classes, Visual Force pages, lighting components, batch classes, schedule classes, triggers, web services, APIs. All these things will be getting resides inside metadata repository. Now, once the code has been stored inside the metadata repository, in order to execute the Apex programming code, we are using the help of a runtime engine. What is the runtime engine? Apex runtime engine. We have Apex runtime engine. By using this Apex runtime engine, we can execute your Apex programming code. So whatever the logic that we have implemented, the whole code will be getting executed here by using the help of Apex runtime engine. So once the code has been executed, Apex runtime engine is going to be generating the results. Where we can see those results? In developer console where? Once the code has been executed, it is generating some results. Where we can see the result? Debug log file. Right. The whole results you can able to see inside the debug log file. So basically, debug log file contains the complete program execution history. That means, as part of this Apex program, whatever the code we have written. So now, whatever the code it is executing right now, the whole code execution background history will store inside the debug log file. So the debug log file contains the complete program execution history, which indicates, as part of this program, how many characters of code that you have executed. Upon executing this piece of code, so how much memory space that you have occupied, how many DML statements that you have used to perform the operations as part of this code. How many SQL queries we have used, it will track the information. How many SOSL queries that we have used, it will track the information. How many email notifications we have sent to the people, it will track the information here. How many third-party web services we have invoked, it will track the information. So debug log file contains the complete program execution history inside that, including your program result. It will track the background history of your program also. That means upon executing that piece of code, whatever the resources it has consumed, the whole information will track inside that. Like how much heap memory it has consumed, how many SQL queries it has used, how many SOSL queries it has used, how many DML statements it has used, and then it is tracking the CPU cycle time of Salesforce server, how many email notifications it has sent, and how many third-party web services it has invoked. The whole information will be tracking inside. Look at the debug log file. Now just we can go to the debug log file. We can see the results also depends upon the. Okay, now make a note of this one here. Now, Apex programming execution lifecycle. While implementing the business logics as part of application development, we have to write the code in the form of Apex classes. Each Apex class code will get stored inside the file with the extension .apxc. Now, each Apex class code should get compiled by using Apex compiler. And the compiled Apex code will get resides inside the metadata repository. Now, compiled Apex code will get executed by using Apex runtime engine, and we can view the results inside the debug log file. Debug log file contains the complete program execution history, which tracks the usage of SOQL queries, SOSL queries, DML statements, heap memory, CPU cycle time, email invocations, invoking third-party web services, etc. Done with these points? Now, let's see. So this is how your Apex program will get executed internally with the help of an application server, which contains Apex compiler, Apex runtime engine. Now, so now in this case, how can we write this Apex programming code? Whenever we are writing this Apex programming code, Apex provides a collection of fundamental building blocks. Apex provides a collection of fundamental building blocks through which we can build some small business logics. When moving forward, we can build all the functionalities by our own. Like for example, whenever we are new to any programming language, not only in Apex, we can take any programming language also. It may be C also, C++, Java, .NET, SAP, Oracle, whatever the platform it might be. Whenever we are new to the programming language or whenever we are new to that platform, initially we are using the existing features. Through that existing features, we can build some small functionalities. Once we feel comfortable with that features, when moving forward slowly, we can implement our own complex functionalities by our own. So now in this case here also, as part of Apex programming, it provides a collection of fundamental building blocks. It provides a collection of basic features which we can use to build some small functionalities, and later we can implement our own custom features which may be a bit complex also. So for that reason, we should be aware of what fundamental features offered by Apex programming language, how to use them to build the business logics. Okay, now let's see. As part of Apex programming, it provides the various fundamental building blocks. So we are having 7 features are available as part of this Apex programming, which are comes under fundamental features. The first one, we have data types. First one, data types. Second one, variables. Third one, operators. Fourth one, output statements. Fifth one, conditional statements. Sixth one, iterative statements. Seventh one, arrays. Okay, arrays. These are the total 7 features are available, which are base. These 7 features are not only in Apex programming. You can go to any programming language available in IT industry. These 7 features are fixed. It may be old programming languages also, or the modern programming languages which we have right now, or the new programming languages which may come in the future also. In every programming language, these 7 fundamental features are same. Okay, the little bit syntactical differences, because programming language to programming language, they have their own principles, their own syntaxes. Some little bit syntactical differences will be available, but these features are available in all the programming languages as usual. Like it may be Pascal also, C also, C++, Java, C Sharp, VB, Python, JavaScript. In our Apex programming, these 7 features are common, no change. Then what are the 7 features, how to use them, what is the functionality of each and every feature, we'll see one by one. Okay, now let's see. These are the base. If you know the 7 fundamental features perfectly, then programming will be simple, nothing else. Okay, now let's see. While building the Apex programming code or the Apex code, while building the business logics, Apex provides the below fundamental building blocks. Apex provides the below fundamental building blocks. First one, data types. Second one, variables. Third one, operators. Fourth one, output statements. Fifth one, conditional statements. Sixth one, iterative statements. Seventh one, arrays. These are the 7 features are available as part of your Apex programming language. So let's start with data types first. The first feature, data types. Done with this? Now let's see. So what exactly the data type and what it indicates? So what categories of data types are available in Apex programming? And what data types are available in each and every category, and what is the significance of each and every data type? We'll see. And then how to use these data types in order to define the variables in Apex programming, we'll see one by one. Now, so now tell me, did you heard about this word any time before? Yes, where creating the fields. As part of configuration, upon creating the fields, we have discussed about this word data types. As part of configuration, we have discussed about 25 data types over there. Okay, 19 common data types, one formula, and then 5 relationship data types, like as lookup, master detail, hierarchical, external lookup, and then roll-up summary. Okay, total 25 data types we have discussed. Now tell me what the data type indicates. What the data type indicates? Okay, now what type of data? Okay, what type of data it will store? Now, in this
Value,
case, okay,
variable.
okay. Now, so now in this case, basically, data type describes 2 things. Okay, data type describes 2 things basically. First one, what type of data the variable can hold. When coming to the configuration, we are using data types upon creating the field, which indicates inside that field what type of data the field can hold. Will it hold numerical value, decimal value, email ID value, phone value, or URL value, or what? For that one, we have selected data types. In Apex programming, different data types are available. Okay, okay, your configuration data types or Apex data types are both are different. Okay, now, So now here in this case here, when coming to the data type in Apex programming, data type describes two things. First one, what type of data the variable can store. That means whenever we are writing some business logic, I would like to store some values over here inside my program. Upon storing the value inside a variable, then what type of data that variable can store? Will the variable can hold numerical value, string value, boolean value, date value, or what? What type of value the variable can hold? That will be indicating by data type. That is the first thing. Second thing is data type describes in order to store that value. That means you are storing some value inside the variable. In order to store that value, how much memory needs to be reserved? How much memory is required? Do you want me to allocate 2 bytes of memory, 1 byte of memory, 4 bytes of memory, 8 bytes of memory? How much memory do I need to reserve? That will be indicating by data type. So data type describes two things in Apex programming. First thing, data type indicates what type of data the variable can store, which type of value we can store inside the variable. Like will it be storing numerical or string values or boolean values or date values or what? What type of value the variable can hold, that will be indicating by data type. And the second thing, whenever we are storing some value inside the variable, then how much memory needs to be get reserved in order to indicate that we are using the help of data types. Now, so in this case, as part of this Apex programming, we have plenty of data types are available. Okay, we have plenty of data types are available in Apex programming. These data types has been divided into two categories. So whatever the data types that we have in Apex programming, these has been divided into two categories. First one, primitive data types. Second one, yes, subject data types. Okay, yes, subject data types here. Same, complex data is nothing but yes, subject data types. These are the two categories. In Apex programming, we have two categories of data types, primitive, yes, subject. Now, let's see what is primitive data type, what data types are available under primitive. Okay, now let me explain. Generally, what do you mean by primitive? Basic level, right? So now primitive means what? Fundamental or basic. So now as part of primitive data types are providing a collection of fundamental or basic data types which we can use to store some small values. In order to store the values inside our variables, we are using the help of primitive data types here. Then what primitive data types that we have in Apex programming? Now let's see. Apex provides total 12 primitive data types. Okay, we have 12 primitive data types are available as part of Apex programming. Then what are those 12 primitive data types? First one, we have integer. Second one, long. Third one, decimal. Fourth one, double. Fifth one, ID. Sixth one, string. Seventh one, boolean. Eighth one, date. Ninth one, time. 10th one, date time. 11th one, blob. 12th one, object. These are the 12. 12 primitive data types are available in Apex programming. These 12 primitive data types we are using in order to define the variables inside your Apex programming here. Okay, we are having 12 primitive data types are available: integer, long, decimal, double, ID, boolean, string, date, time, date time, blob, and object. Total 12 primitive data types. So these we are using in order to store the values inside the variable. Then what exactly this each data type indicates? What type of data this each data type allows to store? How much memory it will occupy internally? We'll see one by one. I want to dig into the concept now here. We will explain each and every data type one by one. Now, how your object fields are relating with this data type, I will explain these points over here. Okay? Here? Now, let's see. Make a note of this one. Data type. In Apex programming, data type describes the below two features. First one, it describes what type of data the variable can store inside it. What type of data the variable can store inside it. Second one, it describes how much memory needs to be reserved to store the data. Now, Apex provides two categories of data types. First one, primitive data types. Second one, yes, subject data types. Now, primitive data types. These are the fundamental or basic data types offered by Salesforce, sorry, Apex programming, to be used to store a single value inside the variable. to be used to store a single value inside the variable. Apex provides 12 primitive data types as below. For example, integer, long, decimal, double, id, string, boolean, date, time, date time, blob, and object. These are the 12 primitive data types are available in Apex programming. Then what exactly each data type indicates? Now let's see one by one. Done with these points? Done with this? Now let's see. So let me explain string data type. Now tell me what did you understood with this data type name string? What type of data this string data type allows us to store? Group of characters, okay? Can we store a single character?
Combination of characters and alphanumeric values.
Only characters? Can we store some alphanumerical values?
Yes, we can store numbers.
Yes, sir. Alphanumeric values also.
Can we store special characters?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, we can store.
Now, so basically, string data type allows us to store a single character or multiple characters also. Okay, we can store either a single character or multiple characters also. We can store inside a variable which includes alphanumerical values along with special characters also. Okay, we can store alphanumerical values along with special characters also. Like, for example, assume that I would like to store gender of a person here, like male. I'm indicating one character here. Now, sometimes I want to store the name of a person, like for example, Rakesh Kumar. Sometimes I would like to store the email ID of a person here, like some santosh.kumar123 at the rate some gmail.com. Sometimes I want to store the address of a person, like I'm indicating this flat number 401, some Rama residency, and some Banjara Hills, road number 12, Hyderabad. I'm storing some address. Sometimes I would like to store the contact number, like as +1 800 787 2233, like that here. Now I want to store these characters. So now basically, string data type allows us to store either a single character or multiple characters also within the variable. But upon storing these string values, so now we can able to give completely the characters also, or it may be characters along with that numerical digits along with some special characters also. So in this case, whenever we are storing any character values inside the variable, which includes alphanumerical values along with the special characters, then we can go with the help of string data type. Okay, string data type is used to store the character values, which includes alphanumerical values along with the special characters also. Now, in Apex programming, there is a principle. Upon storing this string value should be always enclosed with single quote. Whatever the string value you are going to store, string value should be always enclosed with single quote. Because when you go to few programming languages, now the programming languages are having their own principles. In some programming languages, string value should be enclosed with double quotes. In some programming languages, string value should be enclosed with single quote. In some programming languages, string value should be enclosed with backticks. We are having backticks character here, which will be available at the top, okay, with the left corner of your keyboard. We are having this backticks character. It may be double quotes, it may be single quotes, it may be backtick characters also. So now in this case, as part of Apex programming, there is a principle in Apex programming, each string value should be enclosed with single quote. This is the base rule. Okay, when you go to Java, it will be supporting double quotes. In C programming, double quotes here. In C Sharp, double quotes. When you go to JavaScript, JavaScript will support all these three also. You can use any format, whatever you want. But in Apex programming, it supports only single quotes, not double quotes, not backticks. Okay, now. So now in this case, each string value, the whole Ramesh Kumar content we need to store into single quotes. The whole email ID also and the address also we have to enclose in single quote. Okay, so whenever we are storing the string values, each string value should be enclosed with single quote. That is a fundamental principle of Apex programming. Now, here you can raise a question, sir, how much memory it is going to allocate? Depends upon the number of characters you are going to store. Each character will occupy 1 byte of memory. Okay, based on the number of characters you are going to store inside your string variable. Okay, each character will occupy one byte of memory. It may be number also. Okay, it may be like a special characters also. Now, for example, here in this case, in the first one here we are storing only gender, that is M. It will occupy 1 byte of memory. 1 byte of memory. In this case, how much bytes of memory it will allocate over here? Here we are having 12 characters. 12 bytes of memory will be getting reserved. Here, how many characters are there? 27. Now here it will be allocating 27 bytes of memory. Here, how many characters are available? 56. It will allocate 56 bytes of memory. Now, here, how many characters are available? 17. So now it will be allocating 17 bytes of memory. So depends upon the number of characters you are going to store. Each character will occupy 1 byte of memory here. It will calculate totally how many characters are there. Those many number of bytes of memory will be getting reserved for that particular value. Okay? Understood the
Hello,
concept
sir.
here?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Including spaces also. Even if it is a space, space is also counting as one character. Special character counting as one character. Number also counting as one character. That means whenever we are enclosing a normal numerical value in the single quote, it will be string automatically here. Okay, so phone numbers are purely string values. Why phone numbers are comes under string values? Generally, phone number contains 10-digit number here, but phone number including your country code also, right? Country code will be holding what? Plus 91. Plus is what? A number or a character? Character. We are using plus 1. We are using plus a 6 1. We are using plus 8 1. Like that here, we are including country code also. Suppose if you are writing the phone number in this particular format over here, we are using braces also. Braces also nothing but characters. We are giving space also character. We are giving hyphen, that is also characters. So we are having characters, numbers. It's an alphanumerical number here. So that always phone numbers and the fax numbers will come under string values. Okay, clear? Now, so now in this case, let's see here. As part of this string data type, it allows us to store the character values will be getting stored inside this variable, which includes alphanumerical values along with the special characters. String values will be always enclosing with single quote. Inside the string variable, whatever the value we have stored, inside the value will calculate how many characters are available. Each character will occupy 1 byte of memory. So depends upon the number of characters you are going to store, those many number of bytes of memory will be getting reserved. And inside that string value, whatever the content that you have written, in the content, if you have a space, space is also counting as one character automatically here. Okay, so that here depends upon the number of characters that we have, those many number of bytes of memory will be getting reserved by Apex programming. Okay, now I have a small question now. Now let me go to my Salesforce org. I'm going to my Salesforce org. In my Salesforce org, I'm having so many objects, including standard, including custom. Now, I'm going to an application. I'm going to my object account. It's a standard object in Salesforce, which can store all your customers' details. Now, I would like to create one more field inside my account object here. In order to create the field, go to that setup menu, edit object. In the left panel, select the option fields and relationships link. Click on fields and relationships link. Now click on new button to create a new field. As soon as once you click on new button, it will populate all the data types. Whatever the data types are available in Salesforce, it is populating all the data types over here inside this. Okay, we know all these are data types, the functionalities, the properties, the significance of each property, everything. Okay, now tell me here from this data types, which data types will store string values? Text, okay. Any more? Text area, text area long, text area rich. Quick list, okay. Quick list multi-select, okay.
Text area rich.
No. Auto number also.
Text encrypted.
Any more? Or passwords what? Text encrypted, okay, right?
Text area long.
Data is having a format that is not comes under string. Some more.
URL.
URL, right? URL also. Sorry,
Pick list.
URL also. Okay, right?
Pick list.
So
Any more
email.
thing?
Email.
Email data type. One more. Your contact
Phone.
number.
Phone.
Phone also. Okay, phone also here. Now, these are all are okay, string data types. That means what? Whenever we are creating a field inside your object, if you are selecting the data type as either text type, text area long, text area rich, text encrypted, URL, email, phone, pick list multi-select, auto number. Whenever we are storing this kind of okay data types for the field, these are internally referencing your string data type by default. Okay, so now each text data type internally referencing string data type by default. This point is very, very important. When moving forward, we are going to discuss about a concept called as ORM, object relationship and the mapping. During the time, this point is very, very important. It's a very important statement over there. So each text field, text area long, text area rich, text encrypted, URL, email, phone, and we are having that like a pick list multi-select, auto number. All these fields are referencing string data type internally by default. Okay, clear? Now, make a note of this one. String data type. It allows us to store the character values inside the variable, which includes alphanumerical values along with the special characters, which includes the alphanumerical values along with the special characters. Each string value should be enclosed with single quote. Now, each character inside the string variable will get occupy 1 byte of memory. 1 byte of memory. Now, note point here. Each text field, text area long, text area rich, text encrypted, and then geolocation, email, phone, URL, pick list multi-select, and auto number fields will get reference string data type by default. Done with these points? Done with this? Next, the second one, Boolean data type. Now tell me what exactly the Boolean data type indicates and what type of data that we can store inside that variable. Right. So basically, Boolean data type allows us to store true or false. Can you store both? No, only one, either true or false. Only one value we can store inside the variable. Now tell me what fields are available in Salesforce which referencing to this Boolean data type.
Checkbox.
Quick list? No. Only one.
Checkbox.
Right. Sorry. What fields are referencing this Boolean data type in Salesforce?
Checkbox.
What is that field? Now,
Checkbox.
checkbox, right. So now each checkbox field, upon creating the field inside the object, if I'm selecting the data type as a checkbox, each checkbox field internally referencing Boolean data type by default. Okay. Now let's see. Make a note of this one. It allows us to store either true or false values inside the variable. It allows us to store either true or false values inside the variable. Each checkbox field will get references to Boolean data type by default. Done with this point? Next, ID data type. ID data type allows us to store what?
Number, text.
Unique numbers.
Alphanumerical.
Unique numbers.
There's no fields IDs.
Unique numbers.
Record IDs. Okay, in order to store record IDs. So now in this case, whenever we are going to be creating a record in any object in Salesforce, including standard or custom, for each record, Salesforce is allocating one unique identification number, right? Yes, that is called as a record ID. Now tell me the record ID contains how many characters? 18 characters. Okay, 18 characters. But on the screen, inside the URL, how many characters are visible? 15 characters. Okay, now in this case, whenever if you want to store those record IDs, then we can use the help of this ID data type. ID data type allows us to store the record ID, which may be either 15 character or 18 characters over here. Okay, not the object IDs, because object ID contains how many characters? 3 characters over here. Record ID contains 18 characters. So we can store only record IDs, either 15 characters ID or 18 characters ID of the record. We can able to store inside this variable over here. Okay, now let's come to the scenario. Now tell me, from these data types, which data types are storing ID values?
Text.
Text.
Number.
Auto number is already comes into string, except those field types here. Text type, text area long, these are all already comes under string type. Ignore those things. Now, from the remaining data types,
Text.
number will store only numerical value, but record ID contains 18 characters alphanumerical number.
Text.
No, not the text. No formula.
Text area long.
No.
Text encrypt.
Sorry. Now, those two are remains. Huh? Now, right, exactly. So now here in this case here, we are having lookup relationship field. Okay, we are having lookup relationship field. For example, assume that I'm creating a position record. Okay, it's my custom object here. Upon creating a new position record, I'm selecting the hiring manager also. That means I'm selecting hiring manager name. That means hiring manager is a parent. Now I'm selecting the hiring manager person name over here. Let's see. I'm selecting this location as Hyderabad. Now, whenever I click on this lookup icon, it is populating this hiring manager name. Now, whenever I'm selecting this name, some Ramesh Kumar in this lookup relationship field. Now, tell me, is it a lookup field or master detail field? Is it a lookup field or master detail field?
Master.
Lookup field.
Lookup field.
Lookup field, sir.
Lookup field.
Is it lookup or master detail?
Master.
How do you know master detail?
Lookup.
Lookup.
Lookup, sir. It's not a mandatory field.
What is the basic difference between a lookup field and a master detail field?
Master detail is a mandatory.
Lookup is an optional field.
Okay, then if it is a lookup field, child record may be related or may not be related with the parent. That means what? Selecting the parent is optional. That means lookup field is optional here. Now, if it is a master detail, then mandatory.
It's
Now,
mandatory.
this lookup this field, is it a lookup or mandatory or optional field here? Optional
Optional.
field. Optional means what?
Optional field.
Lookup
Lookup
field.
association. Okay, now. So now this is the lookup relationship field here. Okay, now people are not referencing the nodes. Now, don't neglect the admin concepts here. Admin concepts are the base for entire development also. Wherever you go in the Salesforce development, admin topics will follow suit. Okay, so now parallelly along with the development, okay, do the practice on admin topics also. Like take one topic here. Okay, weekly some 2 topics or 4 topics here. Take the 2 to 3 topics, do the practice of admin also. Don't fully concentrate on development part. Along with the development, just you can spend daily 1 hour of time with admin concepts also. Because by end of the development, we can recover those admin concepts also. Just you can have the brush up those skills also. By end of the course, you'll be ready for the interview. Okay, now. So in this case here, this is a lookup field. Now because this is an optional field means it's a lookup. Now tell me, in this lookup field, whenever I'm selecting the hiring manager name, inside the field, what it will store? ID of the hiring manager or name of the hiring manager? ID of the hiring manager. Why not the name? Right. So now suppose here, I'm having 2 people are available with the name Swati and Swati. If I'm selecting this as Swati, then how it will know to which Swati this position is going to resign? The first Swati or second Swati? How can we recognize? It will be difficult. That's what here, it won't store the name of the parent, it will store ID of the parent record. So each lookup field will store ID value. Okay, next. Any other field types? Any more data types which will store ID values? Master detail, right. Master detail also. Next. Any more? No more? Only these 2? We have discussed so many relationship types, right? Lookup also, master detail, many to many, hierarchical, one to one. So many relationship data types we have discussed. Now, in that case, each lookup relationship data type and the master detail field, hierarchical field, external lookup relationship field, along with your record ID field also. In every object, there is a common field called as ID. Okay, in every object, there is a common field called as ID field. So each ID field, lookup field, master detail field, external lookup relationship field, hierarchical field, these fields are going to storing ID values in the name. So that here, these fields are comes under ID data type automatically by default. Okay, clear? Now, make a note of this one. It allows us to store either 15 or 18 characters record ID inside the variable. Note, each ID field, comma lookup relationship field, comma master detail relationship, external lookup relationship, hierarchical relationship fields will get references to ID data type by default.
क्लास चल रहा है हाँ देती हूँ
Done with this? Next, data type. So now tell me, this data type allows us to store what? Only date values. Whenever if you want to store the date values inside your variable, like for example, I want to store the birth date of a person. I want to store joining date of a person. I want to store relieving date of a person. I want to store the product manufacturing date. I want to store the product expiry date. In this case, if you want to store some specific date values inside the variable, then we can go with the help of data type. We can store the date values by default in the form of YY format. Okay, depends upon your requirement, depends upon the time zone, depends upon the country in which you are operating the business. We can follow that respective date formats as well, depends upon the needs. So now in this case, in order to store this date values, we are using the help of this data type. Now tell me in this case, from these field types, which field types are referencing data type now?
Date.
Only date, right? Each and every date field, whatever the date fields that we have, each date field will be referencing data type internally here. Like the similar way, we have time data type. Time data type allows us to store what? Only time values over here. Okay. Now, in this case, will it store the time values only in 12 hours format or 24 hours format also? 24 hours format also. We have discussed during the admin concept, during the data types. We have discussed everything. The similar kind of functionality here also. So now the time data type allows us to store the time values either in 12 hours format or 24 hours format also inside that variable. Now, like for example, whenever we are having some client calls, I would like to store what is the start time of the client call, what is the end time. Today, I'm having a travel plan. So now in that case, I need to catch a bus in a specific boarding point. At what time? So and so time. Today, I'm going for a movie. At what time? So and so time here. So like that here, depends upon the requirement, we can store some time values also. At the time, we can use the help of time data type. Now tell me from this field types, which fields are referencing time data type now?
Date and time.
Only
Date.
time. Okay, only time. Because time data type will store only time value, no date, only time. Date data type will store only date, time data type will store only time. Okay. If you want to store both into a single variable, then date time data type. So we can use date time data type also. Okay. Now make a note of this one. Date data type. It allows us to store the date value inside the variable. For example, birth date of a person, joining date, product manufacturing date, expiry date, etc. Each date field in the object will get references to date data type by default. Similar fashion, time. It allows us to store the time value either in 12 or 24 hours format. Now, each time field in the object will get references to time data type by default. Like the similar fashion, date time data type here. It allows us to store the date time stamp value inside the variable. Note, each date time field in the object will get references to date time data type. Like for example, when you go to the record, we are having that fields like as created by, last modified by, deletion date. These fields are storing both the date and time value inside this.